All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, double honors to apostle and elders in New York, GMS, and salutations to you all around the world that's teaching truth, and shalom to you series Aqua out this under front of videos. My name is Maya Kaala, Bungad, with Chicago branch of Great Millstone. Like to make a disclaimer that we're not black Hebrew Israelites, we are Israelites. The Israelites are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American speckled birds, scattered abroad. Speckled birds are Israelites who look like other nations, but their father's paternal bloodline go back to the 12 tribes of Israel. All right, so right here we had an article. It says why so many African Americans had Nigerian ancestors. All right, so basically talking about the Israelites from the tribe of Judah. All right, so-called African Americans, aka Negroes. All right, have Nigerian ancestors. Basically, are Israelite heritage from Nigeria. All right. It says. It says during the period of transatlantic slave trade, more than 12.5 million slave persons were shipped from Africa to Americas. About 3.5 million of them were from Nigeria now. And this is, I'm talking about the Israelite slaves that came from West Africa. I'm not talking about the Israelite slaves that was already here in Americas. All right. I'm not talking about Gad and Reuben. All right. But anyway, it says, just to make that clear, all right. So you got a group of scoffers that like to say that we that that we like to say that all slaves came from Africa. All right, which is not true. All right. All right. It says, all right. It says, today there are communities of people with Nigerian ancestry, mostly in Brazil, Cuba, Jamaica, who have retained some of their ancestors' beliefs and tradition. Right. You go to Brazil, you got the Yoruba. All right. They got the little pagan false gods. All right. Cuba, Jamaica, they got you got Igbo. You also got Igbo everywhere, man. All right, Igbo. All right, so the two main groups, Igbo and Yoruba. All right, all right. Yes, it says in the largest DNA study, people of African ancestry in America, research found an overrepresentation of Nigerian genetic ancestors in the United States and Latin America. All right, DNA is faulty science anyway. All right. It's not reliable. All right, it's not foolproof. All right. Okay. All right. You're gonna see why I say that. All right. It says while the finds from genetic study are largely supported by established narratives and historic records. All right. So by established narratives from the Israelite slaves. All right, and people around them, and historic records of translation trade, there was also inconsistencies. All right. The research put forward a new narrative explaining the various of African ancestry in America's to the Israelites. It said how the variation was shaped by transatlantic later an intra-America slave trade whose impact was only recently understood. The study will involve DNA of 50,281 people of African descent in the United States, Latin America, and Western Europe was carried out by Consumer Genetic Company 23andMe. All right, genetic data was analyzed over the historical records over 36,000 translated slave trade voyages that happened between 1492 and 19th century, early 19th century. All right, so I said that DNA is crap. All right, it's not nobody has the DNA that Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and his 12 sons. All right, and his daughter Dinah. All right, nobody has that. All right, all right. So you ain't gonna take no DNA test. It's gonna say, oh, I'm Israelite. They wouldn't even. Those who identify being with Egypt, which are not Egyptians, they don't admit that the Egyptians were Hamites. You know, so-called African people, dark-skinned people. All right. So they definitely not gonna admit that you're Israelite. All right. It says right here, the key. It says right here. It said the transatlantic slave trade voyages that happened between 1492 and the early 19th century. Why would they put 1492? Because 1492, that's was the Israelites, the Moors and the Marana Jews in Spain and Portugal. That's when they had went down. As a matter of fact, the first group of captives, so-called slaves, came from Spain and Portugal. All right, so those are the Marrano Jews, the Moors, and the Gypsies. All right, all the same people, man. All right, it's just except the Moors were in Islam, the Gypsies had their own thing. All right, so right here it says this is it said previous genetic study has shown that African American U.S. have more African ancestry from population that live near present day Nigeria from population that live elsewhere in Atlantic Africa, Western and West Central Africa. In agreement, it was shown in the study that Nigerian as the most common answer within the U.S., French Caribbean, and British Caribbean. All right. It says land in the United States. This is despite nearly half the slaves who land in the United States coming from Senegambia. All right, Gambia, Guyana, Bissau, Senegal, and West Central Africa, the main Republic of Congo, Angola. Now, some brothers getting confused. New Guinea, that's over there in the Polynesian islands. All right, those Jaffeta people. All right, so it's not about talking over here. It's talking about in West Africa. All right, totally different people, man. All right. A considerable number of the remaining half had origins in Ghana, Wales, and Ivory Coast. The overrepresentation of Nigerian, as reported, was found to result a later intra-American slave trade between the British Caribbean and mainland America. Because Esau was trading jakes between the Caribbean islands and the southern United States, like Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia, man. All right, because that's you got. You got Benjamin and Levy among Jake, man. All right, in Alabama and in Louisiana, you got what? You got the tribe of Levi down there in New Orleans. All right, that's why they doing all that voodoo, all this stuff. That's they doing the priestly things they did in the past, except it's on the left hand side. All right, when they sprinkle the blood of animals and all that, cutting the chicken throat, let the blood drop down on the ground, man. All right, all those and the scapegoat. All right, the scapegoat, putting a transgression on the scapegoat and everything. All right, that come from the Levitical priesthood. All right, So the main, you can read the rest of yourself, and the main point is just show that a lot of Jakes here come from Nigerian, Igbo, and Yoruba ancestry. All right, now watch this right here. This video, Black Jews, their place in history, a conversation with Nissan Black and Henry Aberson. All right. All right, first of all, no such thing as Black Jews. All right, it's Jews or Yahawada, means somebody from the tribe of Judah or somebody from the southern kingdom, Judah. All right, black is a color, not a nationality. All right, you're not gonna find black Moab, black Mizraim, black Assyrian. All right, black Amen. All right, all right. You're not gonna find that in the scriptures. All right, and you're not gonna find that on the UN. All right, nobody gonna say this is Black Russia, this is Black Ukraine. Right, you're not gonna find that. All right, though black is a color, not a nationality. All right, now watch what I'm trying to get in. Now watch what he say. Watch what this Edom might say. All right, the so-called this Jewish man. All right, he's Jewish. All right, he's something like a Jew, but not exactly a Jew. All right, like my shoe is bluish, but not exactly blue. All right, so he's a descendant of the converts. All right, from the Khazar Empire. All right, you can read that in his book, The 13th Tribe by Arthur Kessler. All right, he was mysteriously murdered. All right, he wasn't killed, he was murdered. All right, for writing that book. All right, but watch what this guy say. All right,
is the translation into Amharic. Absolutely fascinating. But when we get to, let's say, the modern period, and we're jumping ahead very quickly here because this is a condensed overview, by the 18th century, you have the period of the transatlantic slave trade, which, as Mordechai mentioned earlier, one of the great tragedies in terms of human civilization and human capital of the atrocious transatlantic slave trade is that the cultural inheritance of so many Africans was completely lost. Was actually, I shouldn't say lost, it was destroyed in the American context as slaveholders mixed and matched African slaves from all types of regions and languages, and their cultures were hopelessly wiped out by this amalgamation of so many different peoples together. Ultimately, they were left with a vacuum with only a tiny scraps and shreds.
All right, so the goal was Jeremiah 17:4 that what the Israelites would lose their heritage. All right, these weren't Africans; these were Israelites. They were the same people. Now they were the same people. They, Jake had, their own languages, man. All right, the Wolof, the Fulani. All right, the Fulani. Scholars say that the Fulani are Shemitic Sin, are Israelites. All right. Okay, so with that goes Jeremiah 17:4 that what they will the so-called Negroes will lose their heritage. All right, Deuteronomy also to go with Deuteronomy 28 and 29. All right.
Of a Yoruba heritage or something like that, and this left kind of a vacuum for a new spirituality, which of course was Christian gospel, but the
All right, gospel means good news. All right, and Jake was singing those songs before they introduced to the Bible. Matter of fact, Jake knew the Bible, man. All right, and that was confirmed by Mungo Park. All right, when he went to over there in West Africa, he found Jake was reading the Bible in Arabic. All right, and their favorite was the Book of Psalms, the Book of Isaiah. Okay, so Jake knew the Bible before they got over here. That myth that Esau just knocked Jacob side of the head and taught him the Bible, everything. All right, it's just a myth, man, and just due to our people ignorance, man. All right, the Bible is a brown man's book. All right, because we're not black, we're brown skinned. Talking to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right.
Africans, in a very fascinating way, found an echo that was especially useful to their condition, which ironically, as we shall see in a moment, really connected them to Jews in many ways more than it may have to Christians. But there are some very important standout figures. Perhaps the most famous is Equiano, who was from the Igbo tribe in Nigeria, and the Igbo regard themselves as Jews, much like the Ethiopians, although with a much more difficult provenance to determine the connections to the traditional population in Israel. He was essentially a Jew who became a Christian through slavery, but he never forgot his Jewish roots. And he was the first former slave to argue for the fundamental humanity of Africans and started many.
All right, so there you go. All right, and see Esau, what he do? He'll give you the truth. He'll mix lies with it. All right, he brought the truth that Olodo Equano, the Igbo, and his people are Jews, man. And I just read the article that a large number of so-called Negroes are Israelites, man. All right, are Israelites, and they of the Shemitic descent. They not of Hamitic descent. They're not Africans. All right. So let me get this scripture, man. All right. It says Psalm 64 and 8. It says, so they shall Salak, right here. All right. It says Psalm 64 and 8. It says, what? So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves, and all that see them shall flee away. All right. So he just made his tongue fall upon himself in this video. All right, so there's some goodies in the video. I ain't gonna spoil it for you, brothers, man. You look at this video. It's what, an hour 20, 28, 20 hour. It's an hour and 28 minutes. All right, so hey, Shalom, the mic been dropped.